You know what? Yesterday was basically the best Star Wars content I have ever seen in my entire life. As time goes on, we will look back at this episode and look at it fondly with great memories because it did answer a lot of questions that so far had remained unanswered, even before Disney. Like, how was Luke Skywalker's teaching method after Return of the Jedi? If you hadn't read the comics, then most people wouldn't know what Luke was like as a Jedi Master. But that's besides the point, because that was only the beginning. There are so many returning characters in this episode that today we're going to talk about some of them, but the main one is, of course, Cad Bane making his first appearance in live action. The fans kind of predicted it. I mean, we basically predict everything. We throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, and when it comes true, we take the credit. We are still begging for Dengar to come back, and he may be back in the finale, who knows, now that Cad Bane is back. But episode 6 saw the return of Cobb Vanth finally. The last time we saw him was in The Mandalorian Season 2. Actually, it was the first episode. Of course, R2-D2 made his comeback. Again, if we take a comparison, I think R2 has been in every single piece of Star Wars content, whether it be the original trilogy, prequels, sequel trilogy, and the TV shows now as well. If there's an R2, then there's gonna be a Luke somewhere. Both Luke and Grogu were last seen a year ago in the finale of The Mandalorian Season 2. Ahsoka Tano, another Clone Wars character that made her live appearance back in The Mandalorian Season 2. The Mos Pelgo residents as well, those were great to see again. But we finally come to the one, the only, Cad Bane. Now don't you guys forget, this episode was directed by Dave Filoni. So if you thought this episode had Clone Wars vibes, now you know why, because Dave was at the helm for this episode. He wasn't going to let Ahsoka, Cad Bane be directed by anybody else but him. Because as we all know, Cad Bane first made his appearance in the Clone Wars. He debuted in that series and ultimately became something of a mentor to the then fatherless Boba Fett. What is also very exciting is that Corey Burton is back to voice Cad Bane. He does the voices for Cad Bane in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. Now he is voicing the live action one as well. Dorian Kingi is the performance artist, but we all know Cad Bane as a digital creation. And here is where the conflict lies. As with every animated character, there's gonna be some issues with the live action showcases. Back when Ahsoka first made her appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2, many fans complained that her leku were too short. They were short at one point in time when she was a youngling, but by the time we see her in Star Wars Rebels, her leku had grown substantially. We took this as a symbolic gesture that Ahsoka is growing together with her leku. But in real life, her leku had suddenly shrunk. We chalk it up to, of course, real life. With those long lekus, Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka Tano might not had such a great time. But for Cad Bane, now we have a totally different issue. While it is awesome to see the Duro's gunslinger back in action, especially in live action in the Book of Boba Fett, his design in episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett kind of pales in comparison to how he looks in an animated form. Some of you will agree, many of you maybe will not. I implore everybody to share their thoughts down in the comments and actually tell me what did you think of his first appearance, but you cannot deny that there was something off about Bane's face in yesterday's episode. While yes, we're gonna get a lot of compelling opportunities now that Bane is back in live action, I mean, I can't wait for the finale next week, we can't deny that he looks more cartoony in live action than he does in an animated form in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. Now, of course, as it happens with the animated style, especially in Star Wars, Cad Bane's original design, of course, what is considerably more exaggerated. He has an elongated face. He kind of looks like a skull. If we're talking prosthetics, the other inexplicable thing kind of is the nose. It's not as long as it should be, as we see in the Clone Wars and in the Bad Batch. The live action one has a much shorter nose, kind of looking like Voldemort. I assume they fitted the prosthetic mask on the actor, and this is all they had to work with because the nose and the mouth have that human proportion, whereas the animated show can exaggerate and elongate body parts. But all in all, he does have that grim look to him, that persona, that cowboyish feel to him. Just by his face, you could see that he has lived through a lot. In comparison with the Book look of Boba Fett's Cad Bane. He appears to be more human-like. He has a smaller hat, kinda. His overall build, his face is much more rounded, and he definitely has paler skin. The worst part are the prosthetics. They had a lot of limitations when they were recording Cad Bane speaking in close-ups. And herein lies the problem that if he looks a bit cartoony in yesterday's episode, this could undermine his intimidating presence, because in the animated show, we definitely feel that. In yesterday's episode, we did feel that. I'm not going to say I didn't feel the Cad Bane presence, but at times when he was talking and when we had those close-ups, it very much looked a lot goofier. Me personally, I had a lot of issues with the teeth. Admittedly, yes, the teeth are spiky, even Cad Bane in animated form, but this Cad Bane's teeth were kind of exaggerated. In yesterday's episode, Cad Bane looked like he had horse teeth, or maybe buck teeth would be the proper way to describe him. At times, he was biting his lip so much so that his teeth were coming out. There were split seconds there where I kind of cringed because he did look goofy, which was the opposite of what I wanted to feel knowing who Cad Bane really is. But hey, at the very least, we got a real-life Cad Bane with prosthetics and everything, instead of a completely CGI Cad Bane, which could have been even worse, admittedly. I'm not sure which would have been better. I'm satisfied with Cad Bane's appearance, of course, don't get me wrong, but it kind of felt like I had to make this video seeing that a lot of fans were complaining, and I wanted to gauge your thoughts too. What do you guys think about Cad Bane's appearance? Did his buck teeth, his lighter skin, did it make for a goofier character, or did you simply not care? Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.